What's up guys, Itchy here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a video on Brave Burst leveling. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that are going to get you the most out of your Brave Burst and when you're trying to level it up. First thing I wanted to touch on, there are three types of Brave Burst. There are attack, healing, and support Brave Burst. An example attack would be Fire God Vargas here, 6 combo fire elemental attack on all enemies. Example of healing, you have Elmo. Recovers HP for all allies and boosts defense for 3 turns. And also you have support, which would be Commander Whis here. Great boost to all allies attack for 3 turns. So what's the deal with the 3 types? Well, when you're leveling a Brave Burst, you want to make sure that the units you're fusing into the ones that you're trying to level up have the same type of Brave Burst. So in other words, if I was going to try and level up this Vargas, since he has an attack Brave Burst, I would use something like this Skeleton. Combo Dark Elemental attack on single enemy and probable disease. So that would give me the highest chance of leveling up his Brave Burst. One thing I wanted to touch on is that element doesn't seem to matter. I haven't found any compelling evidence showing that fusing units of the same element does anything for giving you an extra chance of leveling up that Brave Burst. Really, it seems to be only the type. So I just wanted to cover that first. Some other tips to get into. You want to wait until the final evolution. Since, we'll say Dean here, since he's a 3-star, if I were to get his Brave Burst up to its maximum level, it wouldn't matter because it would reset back to 1 when he does get up to his next evolution. So when he hits his 4-star form, that Brave Burst is back down to 1. Just a little beginner tip for you guys. Probably the most important tip that I can stress in this video: do not use Metal Ghosts. Do not use Metal Gods. Do not use Metal Kings. Do not use any type of unit like that whatsoever. Do not use anything that does not have a Brave Burst. As you can see here, this Water Ghost, that means when I fuse him with something, it is going to do absolutely nothing for the Brave Burst. You can ask anyone who has a 5-star team with level 80 guys and they used Kings, Ghosts, and Gods to get them all the way up there. Each one of them will tell you their Brave Burst is level 1, and that is because you get no benefit whatsoever from your Brave Burst for those kind of units. So make sure you're checking that when you're checking your types. The level of the feeder also doesn't matter. If I were to put, say, let's see here, this level 3 skeleton in, it wouldn't make any difference. It would be the same as putting in the level 1. So you just want to make sure that you keep that in mind, so that when you're farming, you're basically just looking for the lowest amount of units possible. Lowest level, I should say. But we'll get into farming in a minute. One more thing I wanted to touch on. You want to make sure you're only fusing 1 at a time. I have fused more than 1. I've fused 5 units at once and actually gotten multiple levels of a Brave Burst, but it really comes down to chance. So when you're using that, that's 5 chances you could have had to raise at one time. So you think, you know, each one would give you 1 possibility, so that's, what, 5 levels right there possible, and instead of just getting maybe 2 out of it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You also want to know that the cost at the highest level is actually not terrible. As you can see here, this Kokiri is level 80, so if I were going to go and fuse a unit to try and level up her Brave Burst, let's see here. 1 unit is going to cost me 2,025 Zell. So that's much, much, much cheaper than most other cases. The only other case being when they're in their beginning stages. I haven't done the math for it. I'm not really sure which one is more efficient, but I do know that since the Zell cost was lowered at the maximum level, it's still pretty efficient to be able to do it this way, especially when you had the Zell to play around with. At least you're not trying to do it when they're not max level. So just keep that in mind. You either want to do it when they're at their minimum level or the maximum level. So while we have it here, why not just try for it, see if you can level it up. There we go. Brave Burst level up. First try. Glad I could get that for the video for you guys. So look at that. Level 1 to level 2. And I also wanted to note that as Brave Burst level gets higher, it becomes harder to level up. You may be stuck at level 7. You may be stuck at level 8 for God knows how long. But just be patient, and you will get there. So the next thing I want to cover is where to farm these units. So if I were going to go into here and go into quest, like I said, the level does not matter, so you want to go for the simplest units possible. That means going for things like in Adventurer's Prairie. If you're trying to level up attack, you want to go in here because all the little blob units will give you +2 attack. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Where I usually do it, I go to Monster's Nest. I've noticed I get a lot more out of it. Yes, it does cost 1 more, but you are getting an extra battle, so it close evens out, but not really. If you do the math, it's actually more efficient to do it the other way. But the fact that you can get nymphs, the fact that you can get mimics and such out of this actually does help a little more. I usually do Manipulator in the dark, only because I feel like I get more out of it, and in that last stage you get that Sorcerer Girl, I can't remember her name, but you have a chance of catching her too, so that gives you a chance of getting all 6 battles, something out of it. I've actually gotten 6 units out of 1 run, so that does help. If you're going for healing, the most efficient place to do that is the Nocturnal Forest here in Morgan. Thief of the Forest is usually what I go for. I usually go for the 2nd tier one just because you get more experience, even though it's only a slight bit. But it's still better than nothing, and you will get a lot of healing units out of this, so definitely suggest that. Here. Then if you want to go for support, you would go back here into Mistral again and go for Force of the Beast. You will get a decent amount of nymphs out of the Puppeteer of the Trees. I've noticed a higher rate than usual in there, so if you want to try for that, as well as trying to get units for Brave Burst fodder, that also helps. So that's that as far as that's concerned. The only other thing I wanted to touch on is the fact that in the future there will be 6-star units. So I've been reading around, found out that when you do get 6-star units, instead of your Brave Burst going back to level 1, it will actually go back to half. So that's something to keep in mind. That's something that's definitely going to be a weight off your shoulders if you're worried about leveling a level 5 guy up to his highest Brave Burst level, and then here we go, level 6, or 6-star. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and if you have any comments, if you think of anything that I missed, or you want to see something in a future video, just let me know. Take it easy.